Right.
So ask someone online if they can confirm they can hear us.
Joan, can you do a test for sound?
Okay, so technical difficulty?
She's being.
Yeah, can you ask if they can hear us?
Can you hear us online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good work.
Is there anyone online?
Yeah.
There's a number of people, that's nice.
Okay, we're good to.
All right, so we're good to continue. All right,
Would hear us before, do they know that the 303 is not, so you might want to
Yeah, you
announce it
might
again?
notice.
It might be all those people online.
okay.
How long it went out?
All right. For those of you online, just so that you are aware, if you are interested in following this meeting because you wanted to hear what's going on with the application for 303 New Britain Road, which is a combined application with a fill application and construction of a building, but that has asked, the applicant has asked to postpone, so we will not be going into public hearing with that item. We will not be deliberating that item at all. So if you're online and you're interested in that item, we will not be talking about it tonight.
I'll just add that it's anticipated to be continued to the September 3rd, 2026 meeting that starts at 7 p.m.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So then we can resume our regular meeting, and we're talking about an 824 for a splash pad and all sorts of goodies over at Memorial Park in East Berlin. And we had some discussion with the,
Probably have them online. They're probably some of those participants.
okay.
Wesson and Sampson and Jen Oshawa.
Jen, unless she's just under guest. Someone's just under guest, but
Okay.
John from Weston seems.
Yeah, so promote him to panelist.
And what are we doing?
And so, okay, so going back to the municipal improvement, I'll give a new summary, sorry, all over again, if you don't mind. So Connecticut General Statute, Section 824 requires that municipal improvements be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission and referred to the Planning and Zoning Commission by the Town Council before the Town Council proceeds with those.
Mhm.
The request is for a favorable recommendation. In response to a question I got, if it's not a favorable recommendation, then let's see. Yeah, just.
So what the statute indicates, Jennifer Capola, counsel to the commission for the record, it indicates that the failure of the commission to report within 35 days after the date of official submission of the proposal to it for report shall be taken as approval of the proposal. But then it goes on, in the case of the disapproval of the proposal by the commission, the reasons therefore shall be recorded and transmitted to the legislative body of the municipality. So you would have to state on the record your reasons for not sending a favorable referral report back. A proposal disapproved by the commission shall be adopted by the municipality, or in the case of disapproval of a proposal by the commission, subsequent to final action by a municipality approving an appropriation for the proposal and the method of financing of such appropriation. Such final action shall be effective only after the subsequent approval of the proposal by a 2/3 vote of the town council where one exists, or a majority vote of those present and voting in an annual or special town meeting, or B, a 2/3 vote of the representative town meeting or city council or the warden and burgesses, as the case may be. So if, in a municipality that has those. And then it says the provisions of the section shall not apply to maintenance or repair of existing property, buildings, or public ways, including but not limited to resurfacing of roads.
So if it's not favorable reasons and it needs to go and get a 2/3 vote from the town council in really easy summary
Mhm.
with details. In this case, the way the, and I want to address the timeline because that was the first part she read. We did, although the town council sent this in June, it was agreed upon in timing and preparation of this and the bond ordinance information that the town council saw this date for it to be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission was agreed upon. So we're not in violation of that 35 days because
Okay, all right. So,
we vetted through that with within the town. Um, um, Again, the athletic facility improvements that will happen at Memorial Park at 36 Wilcox Court in East Berlin are a portion of this facilities improvements request 2026. And we have Wesson and Sampson representatives online that we're going to give a quick overview of that. The site plan application will actually be finished being prepared and be and analyzed, and is anticipated to be scheduled at the October 1st, I think, 3rd, the first week of October meeting.
Yeah.
3rd, I'm sorry, I just had this conversation with Wetlands a half hour ago about the dates. And so you'll get the full representation of that at that time. The athletic facilities improvement 824 request includes
Bless you again.
other facilities as well. The main focus is Memorial Park in East Berlin for the 824. However, the funding and proposal, as I understand it, includes as listed in the letter that you got, or the town council item from May 20, that dated May 27th, includes other renovations, Timberland Golf Course, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, the track possibly at the high school, and miscellaneous other sod and field improvements, drainage, athletic facilities as they come up with that. Town council, and the Parks and Rec Commission, along with Parks and Rec staff, have vetted this project through the process, including a feasibility study that was done and considered by the town council for the project, and that where it's now gotten to this point, and basically started in 2024 and has now gotten to this point in 2026 where they're looking to move forward with the plans and the bonding. In the staff report, I quoted from the Plan of Conservation and Development that one of the high priorities is to conduct or the action related to a strategy in the POCD as a high priority is conduct play state, athletic field, and athletic court replacement and refurbishment as directed by the master plan to ensure better conditions. The Parks and Rec while they don't have a written master plan that we could quote from, these are projects that they have been focused on and working on, along with town council since 2024 at least.
Okay. All right, commission. Oh, he's going to be presenting? Okay. All right. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. I have a short presentation. I'll be very brief. Just going to share my screen right now. My name is John Tunsky. I'm a landscape architect with Weston and Sampson. We've been working on this project for since January of this year. And we're just going to briefly talk about it, just go over existing conditions, the site plan, and some renderings we put together, 3D renderings we put together to better illustrate the space, and just our overall timeline, just so you have some background knowledge. Existing conditions, so this is about a little bit over a 2-acre park, includes 2 tennis courts towards the south, about a 25-car parking lot with a drop-off circle, and then to the north is the existing pool, pavilion, and bathhouse there. We were tasked with redesigning this entire park. So our main plan includes really keeping that turnaround space and the parking. I'm sorry, this plan got rotated, so north is to the right of the page. We added 27 new parking spaces where the existing pool and bathhouse is now. A new play area, plaza, splash pad, a small restroom building, and then 4 pickleball courts. The white paths around, there is a perimeter trail system connecting all the amenities. And then this is all off of Wilcox Court, with the school to the south here. These are some of the renderings we put together. So these are showing the play structure and the shade pavilion, splash pad, restroom building, and the pickleball courts in the background. And to the left of your screen is the updated parking lot. This is a rendering looking to the north, so you can the opposite way. So the pickleball court is to your right, splash pad and play area to the north. And then some closer images up close. We worked with the Parks and Rec department to select equipment that would be most appropriate for Berlin. So this is an illustration of what that would look like. And then this is the as we worked with a local vendor to select a play equipment for the space. So we went with the pirate ship theme here. And then finally, just a little bit on our timeline. So again, we started in January. We're in the permitting local phases right now, May through September. Our goal is to move ahead with construction documents towards the end of the year and then bidding this over the winter with the hope of starting construction next spring with about a 12-month construction process is what we're figuring. That's all I have. Any questions?
Commission. Diane.
Hi, thank you. Just one question. Is this park actually abutting the school property? Will the school children be using that during the daytime?
I believe not. I believe this is not going to be available to the school use during the daytime.
The reason that I ask is for consideration with respect to maintenance of the sod. If it becomes a space that's utilized by the school during school hours, or if there are planned activities, Section 10-231B of the Connecticut General Statutes would limit your ability to maintain those sod areas with conventional pesticides.
Understood. I believe this is going to be, there is a current fence along that property now with the school, so I believe that gate will be closed during school hours so that this park can be used for public use during the day.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Tim?
Yes. I'm wondering, this is for appropriation of $2.5 million. And it does take consideration of this project, but it takes consideration of other improvements at Timlin Golf Course, other fields, drainage, renovation of athletic buildings and facilities. Can you tell me how much is going to be put on this project and how much is going to be put on the other projects in this list?
I can only speak to this project. So far, we've discussed budget. We've had it professionally cost estimated, and it's around a $4 million project right now. With the hope of if that money is not out or available, we would take a phased approach, meaning not every element here you see here would be built immediately.
So you're basically saying that it's going to be a phased thing because you're saying the total cost is about $4 million and we're only appropriating $2,500,000. But in the appropriation says there'll be other things in there. So what phase is going to be done first and thing? And my other question.
Tim, that's just the bonding amount. It doesn't mean that all the money needs to come from the bond.
Yeah, part of the council, I believe, has already put some money aside for certain capital projects, and this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jen, hold on a sec. So asking to speak now is Jenna Shoa, the Director of Parks
Yes,
and
you
Recreation.
must identify yourself for the record.
Sorry.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
I'm sure she can answer that because there is, as Commissioner Millard was commenting, that the funding probably will come from a variety of sources.
That's
Correct.
Question.
That's
That,
yes, that's correct. And we can't speak on the other projects because those are not our department. But yes, there is other funding options available for part of this project. I believe some is part of the capital project that has already been funded.
okay, my concern is that the monies are going to be in place when we start this and complete a project, because we've had over years, money not being in place and projects not being completed. Uh, so with the list here of stuff that this $2.5 million is on here, you're telling me there's other fundings available. My other question is that Wilcox Court is a very small street. Is there going to be any improvements to that street from Wilcox Road on Wilcox Court? I see only a little like driveway from Wilcox Court going into here. Wilcox Court cannot handle this type of parking lot without improvements.
So question, two things. One is, I don't think the money is our purview. Second, is that part of the site plan improvements that we take into account at that point in time?
Actually, that is
Thank you.
accurate.
Mhm.
I did just want to note that in what the town council got, the additional, so in the staff, with the staff report, we attached the resolution from town council to this commission. Then the report that is given to town council, that's the document dated May 27th. It did have attachments to it that not in the purview of the Planning and Zoning Commission, so didn't include them, but they are in the file that speaks more to the ordinance and the monies, et cetera. It's the details that town council got for the items under theirs and the finance,
I see.
the Board of
So-
Finance's purview.
Right, so mine being on the Board of Finance before, they like to consolidate and go out for bits of money only at one time. They don't do it on a project by project basis because there's a lot of overheads associated with getting the money. So they're going out and this is what they feel they need at this point in time.
Yeah.
That's why it includes a bunch of things rather than going out with 6 bonding,
Motions, yeah.
ordinances. They like to do it in one fell swoop and pay a minimum amount of fees for the loans and so forth.
I think it's going to be very interesting when we get the site plan before us, and I think that that's probably where the bulk of our questions as the commission rests. So
I understand
think
what
in
what
the-
he's saying, and I see that there's another bond of a total of $5 million that's in this paperwork, but when any projects like this come together, especially once we get to the site plan time, I like to see that most of it's in place, either a time span or a chart of what's going to happen when to complete these projects, because it gets dropped in the process somehow.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's
less
part of
than
the
time.
phasing on the
What
project.
the phasing of the project. So
View.
with site plan, we can see that
Yep.
phasing.
Yep.
Okay,
We will do that.
thank you.
Okay, but let's just deal with what we have in front of us, which is the 8-24. So any other questions or concerns before we entertain, I guess, a motion? None?
Make a motion to send a favorable review to the town council relative to this proposal.
I'll second.
Mr. Millard has the motion. Ms. Jorsey has a second. Further discussion? Then all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. Okay. And June, you were in the positive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I didn't speak, but it was quiet.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Next up is the discussion regarding the site details for approved site plan application of Kelly Hovey Clink for an unmanned redemption center located in the parking lot of Stop and Shop at 1135 Farmington Avenue. This is the property of the Legion Square Associations LLC in the CCD2 zone. Okay, what do we have for this? She is online. Hello, how are you?
Hi, folks. Pleasure to see you all again.
Yep. What do you have for us today? Last time we spoke, we left you with a little bit of homework to do, so we're hoping that we have a much better looking project. So go.
Of course, of course. So I did send some materials to you, ma'am, as well as to, I believe, Alexa, who was out. I'm happy to share the materials that I submitted, as well as I have some new options if the council prefers.
If I may, it would be good if she shared because I don't believe we did receive any indications, perhaps any new information. We looked for it today. We looked for new information earlier today and nobody.
Okay, yeah, I sent it to Alexa
I'm
and then
sorry for
I
that.
called and I'm sorry.
It's okay either way.
That's all right. So if you can share, that's great.
Of course, here we go. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so we can do a rendering that's a cleaner white that comes a much closer match to the beige type of brick that's currently on the Stop and Shop. So the station would look like this, front, back, and both sides. If that's too much white, we can shift to a gray. I don't love this rendering, but the second one has a darker brick if you prefer a little bit more contrast. But I know that the commission was not a big fan of the louder branding colors. So any one of these would work. I also have the traditional brick and beige, and this is what was originally sent. Are you able to see the brick and beige?
Well, I see like white and beige brick.
Okay, let me try to share a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and share once more. All right. So this is the brick and beige. This was what was originally sent as an option. You can see the brick and beige?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay.
We can.
So there's the brick and beige or the white and beige as options, or the gray and brick. And we're certainly welcome to some feedback if you folks have any other ideas of what you might want it to look like. I think this most closely resembles the existing store facade and would be the best option. I also wanted to share some new locations. Are you still able to see my screen?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
All right. So this was the original location that was presented, which had some minimal tree cover. These were the secondary options that I sent over. The blue location as well as the green location that are shown here to have substantial tree cover. Those are, spruce pine type trees that will continue to have branches and vegetation throughout all 4 seasons. That's option 1. This one is adjacent to the fuel island. And then option 2, which is over in the corner closest to the Legion. And I thought that one of these 2 locations might be more preferable to the commission based on the feedback that we received.
I have a question.
Of course.
Right now, the recycling is done within Stop and Shop. What is happening to that whole area that they currently use?
That area will be repurposed in the future as Stop and Shop sees fit. That's their internal sales floor space, and I don't know that they have specific plans for that space at this time. But I think that right now, knowing that the Clink program is going into all 80 of their locations, they're efforting either a one-size-fits-all solution or a store-by-store solution. But I do not have details on that, as that's a Stop and Shop project.
Okay, well, here's my thought. It would be wonderful if they would repurpose it for your brand. So right now they have a recycling center. It's a private door that goes in and they have all their machines there. It would be nice if you could use that space, and this way the people come in with their bags, they drop them off, they get the tags or whatever, and they're on their way. Have it all done right there in the store. This way you're protected from the weather, you're not taking up parking spaces, and they already use that space for recycling anyway. It just kind of seems, I don't know, it seems odd that we're trying to find a place for this thing to fit in, this cubicle, this container. And that's basically what it is. It's a huge container that's dropped off in a parking lot. And I don't know, it just seems to make sense that you try to use what you have.
Yeah, of course. Valid points for sure. In our 20 years of doing this in Maine and New York, we've found the vast majority of the public prefers the exterior station, both for the simplicity of dropping, not needing to bring their bags into the store and the cumbersome process that's associated with that, as well as the fact that this keeps the store cleaner, mitigates trash, allows them to maintain a more sanitary environment without worrying about pests and stuff being inside the store, inside the store footprint and such. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that we could go into there. It's just that in our experience, this is a vastly much more preferred solution for the convenience of redemption. And it tends to promote more folks getting involved in redemption activities, as I mentioned in the last meeting, which allows us to recycle more material at that food grade quality, allowing the material to go back to the commodities market for its highest and best purpose. Pretty much we've found that if you simplify it, they'll use it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Millard.
A couple of comments. One is with regard to siting. A couple of days after our meeting, I did run into Commander Vinny of the American Legion.
Okay.
And I spoke to him about this, told him where it was going. He has no issues with the proposed location whatsoever from his perspective. Talking about his property and maybe future uses or whatever, given the comment that was made that if anything ever did go there, we could negotiate having it moved. The second part about having it inside, there's two things I would comment on. One, it becomes 24/7, 365 days a year if it's outside. Other times you're subject to the hours that Stop and Shop is open. Even though they're open a lot, they're not a 24-hour shop. So, I think that helps. I think if you stood there and looked at the people coming into that area, you would see an awful lot of undesirables coming into that building with shopping carts full and bags of stuff, leaving a mess inside and whatever. So I think outside is, that's my preference personally. I would use it that way. I don't know if I'd use it if it was still inside and I had to go inside.
Okay.
That's my preference.
Well, no, it's a good thought, and it's good to follow through. And then it just leads or begs to the question from the commission, and where should we place it? And then, of course, the aesthetics of it.
So just a gentle reminder, you did approve the use last meeting. What it's back to you for is the sleeve, and so the design of the structure and also the location. That's what you wanted to revisit. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim.
My opinion was that actually the second location on that you got up, not the original, second location up against those trees there. My opinion, that's a better location. And I do like the gray and the red brick one as the building.
You mean the tan and the red?
They had a gray one.
With the red.
That one right there. Reason why is because we are the brick capital of the world, and
used
that's
to
what
be.
our town is, and it shows the bricks. And it's not a lot of bricks, but it does show our tradition.
I don't care where it goes. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
I just.
I just find, I'd just like to remind everyone with regard to the exterior materials, as it's proposed, it's for a wrap.
Yeah,
So the bricks won't be real, there'll be a wrap.
yeah,
Photograph of bricks, as so to speak. So
yeah.
just a reminder of how the plan on the screen translates.
Yeah,
And then that simple reminder about the signage does have to be compliant with the regulations. So it likely won't appear exactly as that, because that appears without measuring as more than would otherwise be allowed.
so which wrap is closest to the current Stop and Shop? Is it the white one?
Yes,
I
it
would say
is.
either the white or the tan, because isn't Stop and Shop tan?
Yeah, I thought it was tan. I don't know, I'm so screwed up.
The last time.
Yeah. Oh. All right, you're
The
not
Stop
care,
and, the Stop and Shop appears to be white. I did take a photo at 20 after 8 when I was there after the last meeting. The brick is more of that lighter beige brick, but it does appear that the exterior facade of the wood look vinyl is white, which is why we went with this white and beige brick rendering.
yeah. So it's between the white and the beigey thing. I don't know, June, Diane, somebody help. Nah, I don't know. I,
I would argue what shows the dirt the least.
that would be my next question. If you go with the white, what happens when it gets really nasty looking and gnarly? Well, they
We
all
clean
look
it
like a
regularly.
trailer.
We have 2 full-time folks in the market that service these stations, typically at least weekly, if not multiple times a week. And their part of their job role is to clean all exterior customer-facing surfaces and touch points regularly.
Okay.
Additionally, no materials actually touch the exterior facade of this station. They simply scan the bag tag within proximity of the scanner and then open the window and place the bag inside. Of course, things can happen for sure. And that's why our market brand ambassadors would be there to remedy any type of stains or spills or anything that occurred on the exterior facade.
Okay,
I'm thinking relative to snow plows going by and things like that. And more in the winter than in other times of the year.
all right. All right, what do you think aesthetically? Do you want it for a different color or what?
Red brick. I think that's classier look, than the white.
Not that one, that's tan.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry, so
pink.
I'm having a hard time. Like this one down here?
Yeah, that one, red brick, right?
Right.
I don't care. Well, I'm not keen on it, but I know, I just, what other colors you got?
Well,
I
Oh, it's
mean,
just-
we can, if you make a recommendation, I'm happy to send over some additional renderings. Do you want more of a, this is kind of like a gray blue, but we could do more of a straight gray if you prefer something that looks like that with and you prefer the red brick to the beige brick, is that correct?
No, Tim prefers the red, I prefer the beige, but
Okay.
I don't want to hold this up too
A
long.
lot of gray in the Stop Shop sign.
Yeah, yes,
Be white. with
but that's not our Stop and Shop, is it? That's our Stop and Shop? I don't think so.
Just Googled Burlington stuff.
You sure you didn't get Berlin, Illinois? Because Berlin, Connecticut has like a pointy peaky thing. I don't think so, no. Make sure you put Connecticut. Yeah. I know, but I don't want, but you know what? If we don't get it right, People are gonna say to us, what the hell?
There.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
it. All right,
Gray,
okay.
lighter gray.
Yeah, I like the lighter brick, but I mean,
We could do the lighter brick with more of a cream colored top instead of that
That's-
very drastic white.
yeah, I don't like the white, but I don't really want the deep gray either. So a beige, like a off-white. Hey, come on. I know everyone's saying you don't care until they put it there and then everybody
like
cares. I like green. All right,
Right in the stop shop there.
no, all right. So what do you think? Placement. Let's talk about placement then. Placement. Do you want it near the gas station? Well, no, but one was closer to the gas station than the other.
That was closer.
The open field? All right, you liked it tucked in the corner? The American Legion, you mean?
That gets it out of the way.
Yeah, okay. So more toward the Legion, where
Yeah.
that curve is or whatever that they banked it into? All right,
Not used a great deal out there. There's not a lot of parking that goes on out
Yeah,
there. It's probably a good
exactly.
spot for it.
yeah, something that's gonna be out of the way. All right, so back to the color. So more like a, oh, I don't care, Jesus.
Well, I think our original goal was to make it kind of match Stop and Shop, and that it was a part of the store and not to be standing out so different in the parking lot. So what is that? The beige bottom. We can put gray at the top and beige at the bottom. I know it sounds like they don't go together, or white at the top and beige at the bottom.
Let's go with the cream.
The cream is
Yeah,
fine?
let's go with cream and then the beige at the bottom.
The beige brick and then like more of
Yeah.
a cream color.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a rendering put together tomorrow. May I have a good email address of somebody? I just want to make sure I'm sending it to the right place so that the commission can review it.
I'll put my email in the chat so you got it.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right. So we decided that it's going to go in the, I don't know if you want to put up the screen again for the location so we make sure we have the right location.
The one in the
And-
blue.
Yeah, I believe it's the one in the blue, which is over like the curved part of the parking lot there, more toward the
Yes, ma'am.
Legion. Okay, all righty. And then, and you're all set? Yeah, closer to that. Okay, yeah, closer to the Stop and Shop colors, that's it. Okay, so do we have a motion on this or do we need a motion on it? No, that's it? Do we have the consensus? Okay,
Yep.
so we can move on?
Yes.
All right, good. Okay,
Thank you.
all right,
Thank you.
all right. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item C is the site plan amendment application of Ryan Luby Virogi and for the commercial installation of roof-mounted solars at 166 Old Brickyard Lane, units 1A and B, property of Kokomo Old Brickyard Lane LLC in the PI zone. Didn't we already do this? Did we start?
There was an issue
It wa-
about it being. a
Ah,
commercial venture
that's right.
versus an in-house use.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the
Madam
update.
Chair, if I may.
Yes,
So you did have at your desk the update to this. I'm actually, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read it just because I think it's clear.
okay,
The application was presented at the August, well, that you know, is you got the presentation last month. There were some concerns. The concerns raised included the use of the solar panels for electric generation in excess of that would directly support the site and the uses on the site. We went back and I reviewed the recordings, the record, as well as the recordings of the hearing and deliberation on the text amendment that added the provisions that relate to rooftop and ground-mounted solar installations from 2017. In the audio, and they spanned several meetings. In the audio recording of the September 21st, 2017 meeting, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for that text amendment, Then Director of Development Services and Town Planner Helen Riggins explained to the commission that the rooftop solar would be an accessory use to the principal use of the property, and therefore electric generation would have to offset the property uses electrical usage. So in other words, it was, the text amendment didn't include language about extra generation because it would be an accessory use, because otherwise it would have to be listed as another use that would be allowed in that zone. The then Chairman Bruce Moore stated that rooftop solar was not intended to be an enterprise. So, and you'll remember some of that confusion that was discussed at the last meeting is that the ground-mounted solar talks about generating only for the use on the property. The reason that it wasn't included in the rooftop section is because the use would be accessory to the use
Yeah.
of the property, and it's clear that way. It's the building. There's
Yeah.
a building, there's a primary use. I would note, and as I have in this report, this has been how the regulation has been interpreted since its adoption, and therefore it's my recommendation that the current electrical consumption of the uses at 166 Old Brickyard Lane be provided to the commission, and either this application should be adjusted to provide the number of panels that would generally offset the property usage for the buildings and uses on the property to the satisfaction of the commission, or the application should be denied as not consistent with the regulation and its intent. Alternatively, the applicant asked, alternatively, the applicant could withdraw the application before before the commission decides the vote, where I discussed my findings with him for their consideration, but, he was going back to his
So could I ask
his business with regard to it.
a question? So
We'll have the recording as well.
is there another alternative? Like, things have changed a fair amount since 2017 and the proliferation of solar and whatever. There's been a lot of controversy about solar going on the ground and ridiculously using up farmlands and whatever. So from a use perspective, my own personal opinion is it's a good use, okay? So I don't know why we potentially necessarily restrict it to only the use of the property itself. My question would be, can it be structured, not in this, we probably have to make some changes to do it, but now this is another commercial use of the building. It would have to be a commercial use of the building, treated that way, taxed that way, because my question now would become is how would you tax this, given that it's an enterprise business on the outside? Who's going to pay the tax on it? I mean, to me, he's leasing space on that building. That's a new commercial use on it, and he's going to be taxed on it. All that structure up there. What's wrong with that scenario?
So, and that would be the alternative that an applicant and or the commission could direct, is making an amendment to the regulations that then allow for
Right.
a use that does generate.
I mean, think of all the rooftop space that's in town.
And
know?
my suggestion on that is the commission provides some direction if that's what the commission would like to see happen, or thinks they would like to see, because obviously you have to have a public hearing on any amendment and vet out its pluses and minuses. But I would suggest that one of the things be considered is to whether or not there be a provision or part of that direction, and or it to be on existing buildings, and or whether new buildings could be built for the sole purpose of having rooftop solar on them. I don't know how that would happen, but
Yeah.
that's, I'm trying to.
Again.
Yeah.
To me, matching the use of the existing use
Zone.
electricity to me is problematic from the perspective, like it's not then looked at this enterprise asset and taxable to that enterprise. I don't know how you would figure that out in terms of getting tax revenues from the town. These things aren't cheap, so.
That, and I don't know, but the assessor has certain types of reporting that they require from different types of businesses, and I imagine there might be a way for them to report what is the profit.
I-
That would
Yeah.
then, again, would be based on the assessment statutes and regulations. And
I think it's
it's been
just,
a long time since I worked in an
I
assessment.
don't see the value of doing it that way, that's all. So I think, as a special permit, because I don't think we want the proliferation of these things in every area, because aesthetics and taking into account neighbors and things like that and whatever. This is really in an industrial area where this is. There's several buildings down there. I mean, if you looked at buildings like Berlin Steel and things like that have massive amounts of space, if we allowed this kind of thing, it would be helpful to the environment per se, in terms of reducing our, carbon footprint, and it would be helpful to the town in terms of generating revenue for the town and as a taxable asset. I don't necessarily see a big downside, but I might be missing something.
Okay. Tim?
Yeah, I do remember this coming across and that the solar energy on the roof was going to the structure itself. Okay, during the course of years and every discussion on this subject, it came that a percentage of the whatever's not used, basically that from the solar units on the roof, would be sold back to the grid or put back into the grid. Okay, so if it was 25%, say 75% went to the building uses and 25% was put back into the grid, there was some extra that's put into the grid that's a advantage to the town. Any solar panels are a cost, and of course they will be taxed like any other equipment in the building. It is equipment on the building. So whatever the assessment it would be on those solar panels, I don't know how they do that. It would be taxed because solar panels are accessory to the building. But I think that we should look into, I think that anything solar panels put on a roof should supply the building first. That should be the main topic.
Well,
But anything extra should be some process to put into the grid.
Listen, I mean, Maureen did the research. So the legislative history, because when, the text amendment was passed, the legislative history reflects that your director of development services, your town planner, and your chair very clearly on the record stated that that's what was intended, that it be accessory to the business.
To the business. Yeah.
On. So, this separate enterprise is not what was contemplated. Now, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. So, certainly if the majority of the commissioners want staff and myself to draft something, you're going to hear from the applicant. I don't know what their intention is. This is not an accessory use. Okay, there's no argument, I think, that could be made that this is customarily incidental. I mean, if it was customarily incidental, we would have heard this from others, right?
Mhm.
So I think that, they may come forth with the text amendment. Obviously, we've got, and I'm very sorry, I don't recall your name. But we have Ryan here. He's going to address you with regard to what their intention is. And if they're not interested in pursuing the text amendment, that doesn't mean that you can't direct us, to do some further research on it and come up with some language if you share Mr. Millard's, and it sounds like Mr. Zigmont's opinion, that, there's value to permitting this use, then we'll come forth with some language for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just-
All right, let's hear from the applicant. All right.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come back and speak. I think in regards to some of the information that was shared from the meeting in 2017, when I listened to it, it sounded more residential based versus commercial. And in regards to that not being a discussion, or this program not being a discussion, this is again it's a buy all lease Connecticut NRES program, which the believe wasn't established until 2022. I'd have to double check that, but so it's a fairly newer program. And again, as has been discussed, the energy is not being produced and then given to the owner of the building. It's a system and a program where we lease rooftop space from the property owner, and the energy produced is then sold back to the utility for a fee, and Verigy pays the property owner a fee as well with the lease. I did have just a question to clarify, because there's been some email correspondence back and forth. That was confusing. It came from, I believe, Maureen, but it did seem kind of scammy. So we were going back and forth and trying to figure it.
Oh, okay.
Um, we had multiple emails. So we had spoke Tuesday evening on what you identified, which I appreciate you sharing. The following morning, we received an email that was saying there was condition or recommended approval by the commission pending settlement of an invoice.
So
I didn't know.
I will address that, and I would love to address it on the record for everyone who's listening.
Sure. I didn't.
So there is a scam going around throughout the country,
Okay.
not only in Connecticut, but they are targeting, it seems, the land use agencies and applicants, and particularly applications that can be viewed online where they can get and that's what it seems. We, there's a lot of planner discussion about this, and whether it's through the permitting systems or what have you, it looks like they're just trolling our agendas and decisions and sending out these credible invoices. So nope,
Yeah.
don't pay it.
All right. Well,
The thing
it's
to the town of Berlin is we only take cash or checks in our department, and is handled when the applications come in.
thank you for
And
sharing.
if anyone has any concerns with regard to a bill they get from the town, call the town hall and ask. And
Okay.
I
office,
appreciate it.
particularly with regard to this, would be more than happy to help.
I appreciate it. Yeah, because we had some back and forth. It seemed pretty suspicious right away, but there were responses, detailed responses, although confusing.
Their details of site plan review have been pretty scary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as well as an invoice and wire instructions, which is suspicious in general. But
yeah.
So thank you for the question.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, let me just back up. You said that this was leased rooftop space.
That is the program.
Okay, so it's leased roofs, but you also said that so you're paying the landowner,
Yes, Verigy
and then the company that you're selling the electricity to is paying the landowner.
pays Verigy, our company.
They pay you, and then you pay them a
Yeah.
portion of what you sell it for?
I can't answer that directly. Unfortunately, I believe it's structured, the way that we have it written out with our engineering team is we have a structured lease with the property owner. That is the compensation. It's a lease between Verigy and property owner for their roof space to install this solar system, as a part of Eversource's Buy All Lease Connecticut NRES program, in which our solar system that is on that building produces energy that goes back to the utility. Eversource
Okay.
pays Verigy for that
Alright.
energy.
All right, questions? Anyone else? Yep.
I question that the owner of the building is going to get
Money.
a lease fee
Hmm?
for leasing their roof, right?
Yep.
But they're not going to get any benefit of the electricity. So all the electricities go to Eversource or
Yep.
whatever. And that's not the way this was discussed here. And that's my question. If you're going to get, I would say there got to be some kind of motivation to the,
It's called money.
huh?
It's called money.
It's called money, whatever, no
That's the
matter which way you
motivation.
get it, by electricity or cash.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the question, I think, and George said this, Mr. Miller said this before, and he brings it a very good question. He said, this becomes a second business.
Right.
So he's operating one business inside and another business on the rooftop. And our regulations aren't written to address that. So in a way, really can't, I don't feel comfortable in acting on this unless we knew we had a regulation to govern it.
So I'm looking, there seemed to, as you mentioned, there are now state programs for this. This is the, what, like you had said, it's the state program and buy all tariffs. It's the buy all front of meter tariff that you're talking about. Under this structure, 100% of the energy and renewable energy certificates are sold directly to the utility at a fixed rate, completely independent of the billing's own electric meters and consumptions. They're trying to promote this because there's a lot of unused rooftops that they can cut down their carbon footprint. It's a good use of it.
So-
Well, it's
We don't,
good
it
use,
can't
but
do
we
it in
don't-
our regs, right? We would have to change it and say, as a special permit, we'd have to get language around this buy all front of meter tariff and whatever. There's a couple other ones too, but I'm sure you don't want to do that one. That's the shared clean energy facilities where you donate all the energy to low-income people.
Doing that to donate, no. Yeah,
So,
so,
say that, yes, that is my opinion that it's not allowed for in the regulations.
Correct.
The way they are proposing it, and that is why my staff report or our staff report suggests denying the application if the applicant does not choose to withdraw it. The
Yeah, there's no
there
use-
is,
no
they
use
did
to the
mail in a
building owner.
significant number of pages of information with regard to
Use it.
what you just
Yeah.
noted, and that is in the application folder on the
Yeah.
Dropbox. Was added to that as
Yeah.
application materials,
So
which can also be incorporated in if we go forward with.
So there may be a number of other towns that have adopted this kind of stuff that would give us some insight into the regs that,
We're not familiar with any right now that.
I'm not either, I'm just making,
If there's a question, especially new technologies that are new uses that we haven't had a lot of exposure to, the planners do have a website.
Yeah.
Where we share information and say, hey, does anybody looked into this or adopted regulations, so that when we go to those suggestions.
okay, anyone else?
Um,
Diane and then
Yeah.
June.
So I'm curious to hear from Ryan, because you haven't really said what your thoughts are on what Maureen has shared with you. Are you interested to present your own text amendment? Or do you intend to reduce the number of panels or withdraw your application?
I would have to discuss that with our director of engineering further to be able to give you an answer. Yeah, we didn't delve into that too much, also because the scan was very confusing. We
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
stuck on Tuesday night and
Good intuition on your part.
Yeah, very good.
wait and go.
Yeah.
So do you want to table the discussion?
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
if everybody doesn't feel comfortable having a conclusive answer, yeah, I'd respectfully.
Well, so the thing is, I agree with what George is saying. I would be open to considering new or revising regulations, but that's going to take time. We can't make that decision tonight. So the concern that I have with something like that is unintended consequences. And,
Hmm.
thinking about the locations where we would be
Yeah,
comfortable with
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
agreed.
I'm open to consider it, but it's just not something we can do tonight. So it just makes sense that we table it if you don't know.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Especially if we did table it, we could come back with our director of engineering as well as other use cases in other towns that we've done this and to help maybe assist you in that direction.
can you note, what are some of the other towns you've done this in?
We're in the process of one in Waterbury. We've done Hamden, and I believe Milford. That's just off the top of my head, but we have, there's been many others, so I'd have to
Okay.
get back with the team and
And June, I promised you a question.
Well, actually, George asked the question
Oh.
about where other places are. Is it still, are you working currently, or are they developing this currently in just Connecticut, or are there other states, or is it just starting to
for
get
the
off the ground, or?
Energy does stuff nationwide, but I only work on this team that is Connecticut based, so I can't speak to what they're doing in other states. But on our team, it's Connecticut based, and so we've done it. throughout Connecticut.
Okay.
So it would be helpful to our staff, I think, if you had examples of zoning regulations that allow this type of use from other locations, whether they're in state or not in state.
Sure.
It might give us some direction to work off of.
And I'm curious, is there a state program that supports this or encourages this as part of, wanting?
Oh, yeah, it's the Eversource buy all lease, what's it
Yeah.
called?
It's the Eversource,
The buy all lease.
front of the meter buy all lease Connecticut and Res program.
Our recollection is there was a solar energy bill passed within the last year. And it is an Eversource program that they're working off of. When we go into those pages, and again, there's a lot of pages, we may find references to legislation within all those documents. We were looking at adopting regulations. We would generally go look at, research how it's allowed in the first place.
So there's to that point, like that you've done some in Connecticut already. I'm finding that there's a Connecticut General Statute 12-8157 that states that in general, renewable energy systems are generally exempt from municipal property taxes, but traditionally, arrangements can be made. Do you know how that's worked with you guys? Do you take advantage of that at all, or?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, because that would be a big to do, but if that's the case.
Okay. All right. So we going to continue this, or is it the consensus to continue?
Consensus is to continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The consensus is continue. Okay.
So I'll make a motion to continue this topic to the September 3rd meeting.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Motion by Ms. Jorsey, second by Mr. Zigmont. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved.
Thank you, sir.
I just
Okay.
double check that date that you said out loud.
September 3rd?
Didn't she say the second?
Third,
Third.
You said the third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
was that right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Yay. All right. Can I ask you to read the call?
You
The
certainly
public
may.
hearing, because I think
Yes.
all these people are here for it. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Town of Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission notice of public hearings. The Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at a regular meeting on Thursday, August 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. Interested parties may join the meeting and participate in the public hearings in person or remotely as provided below. 1, special permit with site plan application of Soren Zaman Roofing for Berlin Flex Center contractor and manufacturer shops flex space development at 567 Weathersfield Road, property of Leaf Stopper LLC in the PI zone. Applications and related meeting materials are available at the Planning and Zoning Department, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. Remote access to the meeting is available by Zoom video conference, and the link is provided. This is submitted by Brian Rogan, Secretary of the Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission, and was run in the New Britain Herald Legal Notices, classified advertising on Friday, August 7th, 2026, and Friday, August 14th, 2026, and posted with the Berlin Town Clerk on Wednesday, August 5th, 2026.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. All right, into the public hearing. As you know, the 303 New Britain Road has been continued. So this leaves us to item B, which is the special permit with the site plan application of Severin Zaman Roofing for the Berlin Flex Center contractor and manufacturer shops flex space development at 567 Weathersfield Road, property of Leaf Stopper LLC in the PI zone. Good evening. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good evening. And can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Madam Chairperson, Commission members, my name is Sev Bovino, planner with Kratzer Jones and Associates, represented the applicant. Kratzer Jones and Associates located in Milldale, which is a part of Southington. I'm here representing the applicant, Zeman Roofing.
Okay.
Again, my name is Sev, C.V. Bovino. I provided a card to Alexa. The
Okay.
property is located at 567 Weathersfield Road, corner of White Oak Drive. The property is zoned PI and it is served by public water and sewer. The maximum building coverage allowed is 30%. This proposal is for 15.9%. The maximum impervious area is allowed 60%. We propose 36.3%. Land area is 2.31 acres. The proposal before you tonight is for a 16,000 square foot building, that's flex space, slab on grade. And it will be used for contractor shops and it is allowed by special permit in site plan for section 12 and section 13 of your regulations. This building will be leased to manufacturers and contractors. As I said, the height of the building is 21 feet plus or minus. And the regulation allows a height to be up to 45 feet. The hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Building and related parking is proposed as far south on the property to avoid the wetlands area located along White Oak Drive. As you look up on the screen here, the north is up screen, the blue area is the wetland area, and the building was moved as far south as possible to avoid the wetlands impact. To the south, there is a sewer easement, Metabassett sewer easement, so we could not push that building further south. So it's pretty much centered on the property. We'll have 8 25-foot wide bays, which equals 2,000 square foot per unit. It's a good size unit. Normally we do 20 by 60, which is 1,200 square feet. This area will allow the users of this facility to be able to have their trucks inside and all their equipment. So it's a little bit larger than normal. All lighting will be full cutoff LED lighting. The 35 parking spaces along the south side and the east side of the property are shown here. You can see to the right of the building, there is parking there. And then there's parking on the south side. We propose a double row of evergreens on the right side because there's a residential use across the street. So in addition to preserve as much vegetation as possible at that location, we're adding 2 rows of evergreens for a buffer. The site will have 2 curb cuts for an easy in and out. We propose to have a sign meeting the zoning regulations with low flowering shrubs around the sign. It's at the entrance there where the driveway cuts in. Other areas of the site will also be landscaped. The proposed drainage is designed to achieve 0 increase in runoff as recommended in the regulations for the various storm events, which should go from 2 years to the 100-year storm. We are achieving that by 2 detention areas, one at the intersection of White Oak Drive and Weathersfield Avenue, and the other detention area is to the west by the driveway there. Both of these detention areas discharge to the upland area before eventually going into the wetlands area to the north. The water quality is ensured by providing plunge pools at the ends of all the flared ends, the stone filter berms in the detention areas. Each detention area will have a stone filter berm before the water enters the other side of the detention area and eventually exiting the upland review area. We'll have silt fence, silt socks, erosion blanks for the steeper section of the property. These features will be built first. The limit of clearing, silt fencing will be staked prior to any construction will begin. All the appropriate notes and details are on the plan. Notes on the plan require that the town staff be notified prior to any activity, and a job meeting will have to take place to go over all the site details. A construction sequence is provided to guide the contractors. A site plan and a special permit application was submitted for your consideration. As required by the special permit, we notify the owners of all the properties within 500 feet of the site. Proof for the mailing is here, and I have all the receipts. The signage was installed to notify the public in addition to the direct mailing. We believe that this project meets your regulations. It is not injurious to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighbors and the public at large. We ask that you consider approving the application. At this time, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Commission, anyone?
I have an initial question. Couple of things. In the application, two questions, I guess, to start with.
Boy.
You had mentioned that it was either like contractor or CNC machining type.
Contractor end.
And so are you that's a possible use?
That's what the client has told me.
Okay, so I just my first question is probably for you, Maureen. Those are two different uses. One's allowed and one's not in a PI zone. Does that matter? Like CNC manufacturing is an allowed use in a P1 zone, but the contractor is a special permit.
Special
So we're
permit.
treating this as an overall special permit.
Yeah.
That they can have any mix of uses as presented.
So I'm looking at your estimated traffic volumes, okay, which you don't have to do a formal traffic report, whatever. I appreciate you're doing it, but I would argue that the model that you use or to get your ITE trip generation, the LUC 110, that really refers to a single freestanding, single use manufacturing concern. Okay, so one business in there, not 8 businesses in there. Okay, so that all comes to 2 points. It's like, depending upon the nature of the business, I mean, if you've got a lot of contractors in there, maybe, I don't know what you're thinking in terms of contractors, electrical contractors, plumbing contractors. Are you looking at landscaping contractors potentially? Do you have any idea what the use is actually going to be to get a better idea of what kind of?
Likely, there will be a mix of those uses.
Okay, so
All the buildings we have done across Connecticut, and you must have some over here. Actually, we did some on Deming Road. You have basically a mix of uses. Yes, you could have a plumber, an electrician, and possibly a landscaper.
okay, do you see any of them as being retail establishments at all?
Retail?
Well, I mean, open for business as they're using it, maybe, I don't know what I'm
I
talking.
don't think so.
No?
Or for contract.
Okay, so I guess I would, based on that to some degree, I would question a little bit whether these estimated numbers based on that ITE model is appropriate. I don't know if there's a better ITE model would show you differently. And then the question becomes, what was your parking numbers based on? There are parking metrics associated with the permitted P1 uses. I'm not sure what the number was, Maureen. I think it calculated at like 32 or something like that. But when you get into now, I've got 8 separate businesses in there, not knowing exactly what they're going to be. Is 32 enough? I don't know, but is 32 enough?
We proposed 35 spaces, and
I know you did.
Contractors have 1 or 2 employees, 3 employees. So you can assume that maybe 4 people, 4 trucks, 4 cars will be there. So we have 8 units, 32 parking spaces, and we have 35.
Okay.
And if you could double, even if you want to double the traffic generation, it's still a very low traffic generation for the use for the area.
I understand that. I'm just making the comment that the model you used was not the right model.
Mhm. Okay.
So, I mean, are we looking here to approve a generic flex space, not really knowing what's going into there? Or, are there specified uses that are going to be allowed? I know there are some things in the regs relative to P1. Do they need to be spelled out a little better than just in a generic use? The second question is, are you going to own and maintain this facility? We thought that's what was going to happen on the Norton Road, Four Rod Road one. And it turned out that now the guy is selling them as condominiums, and nobody's going to own it. Who's the throat to choke when things aren't maintained properly, when they're in violation of what was agreed to no contractor vehicles outside, no supplies outside, everything has to be inside, no outside storage whatsoever from the contractor perspective, things like that.
Great questions. Great questions. We experienced that all over. We have the owner here tonight, and he can address all these comments. He has a plan in mind, and he's pretty active in his properties. So Severin is here. I'll ask him to come up and answer your question as far as the uses, if maybe he already has some in mind.
Okay.
Who's going to maintain the facility? Let's say, well,
Yeah, so I will occupy one of the units.
Okay.
I will maintain the property. So no outside storage whatsoever. No landscaping.
Okay.
Any landscapers. I will prepare CNC shops for most of the units. So that's my goal.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not going to allow landscapers in there? Okay. All right, can you just provide your name and your address for the record?
Severin Zaman.
Yes.
And my address is 76 Southwood Road, Newington.
Okay. All right. We are going to go into our public hearing because I think we have members of the public who wish to address the commission. We want to hear from you because you've been very patient. We're just sort of opening up with a couple of our questions. Anyone else have anything yes?
Yes, I was wondering.
Yeah, your microphone, please.
Thought it was on. We have an entrance from Weathersfield Road and basically the entrance from White Oak. Is it really necessary of this to have the driveway on Weathersfield Road, which is a downhill road coming down in front of there? Can all the traffic go out to White Oak and come to the main intersection over here? That would be my question. Main question is that extra driveway on Weathersfield Road on that downhill may be a problem.
Yeah, that was actually my thought.
Yep.
So you stole my thunder. That's okay. June,
Sorry.
anything? Diane, anything? Can we go to the public? All right.
Can I just
Yes.
comment? And I'm trying to anticipate some of the questions and look up things while talking, but I don't think they presented the architecture of the building. Did they talk about that?
No, they haven't talked about the
I didn't think so.
architecture yet.
I didn't think so. So I don't know whether that wants to, at what point that's usually done in the, that you want it done in the presentation. Usually it's at the onset. But it's not at this point. If you want to deal with the site plan issues first and then go back to that,
Yeah.
that's fine. I just wanted to make you aware. We have just pulled back up on the screen the site plan itself so that Commissioner Zigmont was mentioning the driveways so that those are now visible for everyone.
Yes.
Several of you have your plans out as well.
Yeah.
I will, if you don't mind, the staff continued to review this application and we are still pending comments from engineering. And while we don't expect, it did go through wetlands, so some of the aspects of the engineering would have already been looked at, but there would be other facets as well that the town engineer would be looking at, including the drainage report, and that if you do have and I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Oh, okay.
And the staff report's been written.
So we're still waiting for stuff.
It's just given to the applicant.
Okay, so we are still waiting for more information coming in from other departments within the town?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah, I don't think we have comments from the water control either.
Okay, all right. But let's turn to the public and give them a chance. I'm going to open this up for the,
Chairperson.
yes.
Mention about the building. The building is a steel building. The look of the building is shown on the cover sheet that was submitted. Instead of be 10 bays, it will be 8 bays, but that's the look of the building. And the color can be a gray, or a gray. We talked tonight about colors. So if the commission prefers a gray, we'll go gray. As a matter of fact,
We're going to circle back to that later.
show me a picture of
Yeah.
that. With that, and in the package for the submission, there was a building plan schematic, the engineering details of the.
Yeah,
And then on the cover sheet, you have the looks of the plan of the building, and the height, as I said, will be 21 feet versus 45 feet allowed. So it's quite low as you compare to what could be built there.
yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm going to turn this to the public. All I ask is that you come up to the microphone, speak directly into the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record and share your thoughts about this project, whether you support it or are opposed to it. But we really want to hear your feedback. Okay, so who wants to be first? Okay, we got a taker. You try not to crinkle as it gets onto the recorder. Okay, hi, good evening.
The record state, my name is Nicholas Zibadelli. I currently live and reside at 576 Weathersfield Road. It is the dwelling right across from the proposed, can you hear me good or should I?
Yes,
Okay.
no, you actually have to talk into it
It's
because.
It's the dwelling that is right across the street of the proposed building. I am against this 100% for a multitude of reasons. One, the road is already busy. I know there is a picture of a double hedge road of abrevieties. My house has that exact same double hedge road of abrevieties. It does nothing to negate the amount of traffic or the noise that's, from the road or potentially the parking lot, the businesses that are in there. As stated by the gentleman in the booth, there is going to be a CNC machine. I know from working with them, they're very loud depending on the businesses. I don't know what they plan for noise mitigation, but being right across the street directly with a 5-year-old child and possibly a baby on the way, this is not going to be something that we are going to be looking forward to having to deal with. I'd like to add that I've also put over $200,000 worth of work in this house, and we were looking at doing an addition to make this our forever house. And this is definitely putting a hold on that project, depending on if this is what we're going to be looking out our window and dealing with from a day-to-day basis. Some of the concerns that my wife and I have are, besides the environmental impacts, is the lights and the noise, right? There is a building to the south of this, which is going up the road, Weathersfield Road, that has parking lights on, and we can see them. I've talked to the owner, and they shut some of them off and redirected the lights, so they're not as bad. However, I don't know how that affects my other neighbor. I can only speak for myself. With this being directly across the street, I imagine there's going to be parking lights, surveillance as well, for security for the business, as well as recording. This is all going to personally impede on my property and privacy. I have contacted Chris Rose from Sargis Breen to get an idea of what impacts this is going to have on my property value and my resale value. She says I can see anywhere between a $50,000 to $100,000 loss on my property resale value with this project in front of it. Questions I have now is, how is this going to affect my property taxes if this is put up? are my property taxes going to go down? Someone going to reimburse me for the $50,000 to $100,000 I potentially could lose for resale? Those are some other opportunities. So the other thing I want to bring up too is difficulties in the past with working with the town. I've known in the past that, just for example, those abrevieties I put up, I've put those 2 feet closer to the house more than needed. And I was also had the town inspector measuring, making sure everything was perfect and following the town property code, right? When I look at this is something that's way more of an eyesore and an issue than my trees would ever be, putting up for property, for privacy issues. So again, my biggest thing here is I'm trying to raise a family. I bought a house that I thought was going to be our forever house. I am aware that, sir, that you did buy this property with intent to build. It is your property, but I would like you guys to put yourselves in my shoes, my family's shoes, and imagine moving across the street from something like this, or doing the work that we've done to the house for as long as we've been in the house, and now we have to, go through this. I understand that this gentleman bought his property and he would like to do what he pleases with it, but at what cost to the neighborhood, right? So I know this isn't a big development of neighbors. There's only 4 or 5 people really directly affected. But if you look at the property plan as it sits now, I am directly across the street from this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Oh, okay. They're always welcome.
My name is Howard Comstock. I go by Skip. Oh. Hi, my name is Howard Comstock. I go by Skip. I live at 566 Weathersfield Road. And I have a picture of what it looks like when I leave my driveway. So this one, I look at every day for 2 years. It's a very dense forest. Shit.
Okay, don't worry.
It's a very dense forest. You can't even walk through it. And it'd be a much better block if they could figure out just leaving 20 feet of that all the way down the road. Instead of having those little dots there. I think that would help a lot. And their driveway, the second driveway coming onto Weathersfield Road is opposite my driveway, one of the plans. And I'll tell you, when I had school kids, we'd wait for the bus. The cars would come down 60 miles an hour. It's crazy. It's a speed zone there. I'd love to see a traffic light down there somewhere, but it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know if you guys want to copy this. Oh, sorry.
No, we have.
There's a lot of animals too that are in that woods and everything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you lived and had to look at that? I saw a picture of that.
Yeah.
The building, it's rough, so 32 years.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? It's all gentlemen tonight. Usually we have the ladies who are charging up to the podium. What's going on? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Maureen. We could have just rolled the table closer, Oh.
Hey, my name is Ziggy Kaspersky. I live right next to Nick, which she's actually directly across the street. What is it, Whitehall? No.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I'm gonna see the detention pond, everything through my family. I mean, to the family room. My house is right there,
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's, and like
8 units building, that's kind of big, I know it's gonna be that, I know it's on everything. I understand we live in industrial, light industrial, yes, right? I mean, to me, 8 unit building is kind of it's a little too big. So, I don't think I want to see 8 units.
Okay.
All
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name is Holly Comstock. I live at 566 Weathersfield Road. My driveway is adjacent from where their driveway wants to come in. I have 350 feet. I'm further in the back. I live behind Carol Chartier. I will not be greatly impacted as my neighbors right in front. I'm totally against this for various reasons. This is not, I understand that we live in a climate where we need to industrialize. This is not helping our carbon footprint by any way, shape, or means. That pond over there, whatever, it's gonna bring a bunch of mosquitoes and whatnot. Animals will be displaced. The noise will be absolutely unbearable. The traffic, that's just ridiculous. As pointed out by our neighbors and my husband, traffic already on this road is ridiculous. People do not abide by, I don't know, they feel like the speed limit is a suggestion. And I think that this could be better off served somewhere else. How would you feel if this is what you saw every day outside your window? As my neighbor Nick pointed out, raising a family. And this is, if he wanted to live across from some monstrosity, he would have moved there. But that's not what he signed up for. I understand that this is your property. You have a right to do what you want. But I think you should really consider the people.
Wait, address us.
Sorry.
Address us, that's okay.
I really think that he should consider people around. And how would he feel if this is what he had to see every day? So, yes, once again, highly against this.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come back to the podium.
Hello, my name is Ted Hall. I'm at 441 Weathersfield Road. I am not directly across, but I am like up the street on Weathersfield Road, just beyond Beck Lane. Okay. So a couple things, and I think you'll all be aware of this, that if you drive down Weathersfield Road, it's a very quaint and very much residential road. All the houses along there are well kept. There's a vintage of older, but also a lot of newer homes. Okay. The only factory that's on Weathersfield Road now was there before I moved in 30 years ago. It is adjacent to this property. But that road is not a industrial road, okay? And it also is not built for an industrial road. So one thing I would say is, I know you didn't review the plans for the structure, okay? But it is public knowledge because it's already posted on your system and I looked at it, okay? That structure is a really basic, like metal frame building, okay? There's a real quick picture put up there. It is not commensurate with what we see when you drive down that street. Even the factory that's next to them is much more eloquent than that there, as are most of the places that are on White Oak Lane Road. Okay. So I didn't state this, but I guess I am against having this added. Okay. I don't believe it's in the best interest of what's on Weathersfield Road right now. nor do I believe it will serve any of the residents that are on there at this time. The second thing I'd bring up, and it was talked a little bit about traffic, okay? Weathersfield Road and Beckley is an intersection that I pass through every day, okay? I have to stop for the oncoming traffic. The oncoming traffic up the hill, you know, it's been asked, can you put a stop sign there? And we've been told no, because you don't want the truckers to have a problem, right? But people come up there fast, right? And there's not enough time at the stop sign if you're pulling out for that car, you will not see that car in time, okay?
Yeah.
I have many close calls, right? There was actually a fatal accident at that site in 2013, okay? Where someone died because they didn't see the speeder coming up, and actually was the speeder coming up the road that got killed, okay? So I'd have you carefully make those considerations when you finally deliberate. I actually believe there are, you know, some legitimate concerns there about adding more traffic and more congestion to that area. So I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Oh, you want to ask another question? Okay. Name and address for the record.
Let the record show Nick Zipadelli, 576 Weathersfield Road.
Yes.
As mentioned by your colleague over there, I don't see well, so I can't see your nameplate, sir. I apologize.
George Miller.
Mr. Miller. You did bring up a good point about the traffic. Right now, the Weathersfield Road is used primarily by most of the people driving on it as a cut through from the Berlin Turnpike to 372. What I see the way this driveway goes from end to end is people using that as a cut through to bypass the line of trucks and vehicles at White Oak Drive, right? You want to rush, they want to go home. The guys that fly out of there, I got cameras. If I was more well equipped, I would have brought videos of some of the cars flying out of White Oak Drive. With that as a complete drive through, they are going to human naturally use that as a cut through and pass through. Also, where that turn is, if you can picture an 18-wheeler coming out there, it's going to be right in front of my house. You're going to see the trucks more, could potentially have an issue. Now the traffic is stopping to let that vehicle or truck make the wide swing out. We don't know if now someone goes to pull in that way, there's not going to be a truck or an 18-wheeler adjacent backing up to the building. So now you're going to have a bottleneck restricting traffic. Again, all noise, all happening right in front of my house. The other thing that's kind of alarming here is that you guys have 24 access to the building, 24-hour access. So as mentioned again by Mr. Miller, you don't know who's going to be in that building. I know we were just talking about a different thing about undesirables being hanging around. Who's going to be hanging around this parking lot 10, 12 o'clock at night? What kind of traffic's going to be in there? We're going to hear garage doors opening at 11 o'clock at night, moving things around. We don't know what kind of businesses are going to be in there. These are all very, very, these are concerning to me, as well as, again, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and we're going to have an infant child trying to sleep. You know, this is just added stress, added noise that's potentially going to happen. And again, big major concern with the needs of traffic with the turnaround and the parking lot as shown shown in the plot plans. I also don't see a backup plot plan to see if this was to fail. There is no alternative drawing of what other alternatives do you guys have besides this one drawing? Is this the only way this building can fit on the property?
This is their proposal, and this is what they've assessed to being their best bet, so to speak. But this is something that we're going to have to work on here in the commission, so that's our charge.
And I want to thank the council for your time and let me come up here speak twice. I appreciate it.
No problem. We did want to hear your questions and your concerns, all of yours. They're very important to us. So is there anyone else who wants to share anything? Now would be the time.
Hello, my name is Jane Kroll, and I live with my husband, Martin Kroll, at 528 Weathersfield Road. We have lived there for over 40 years. When we moved in, there was not even a yellow line going down the middle of the road. It was a rural farm road that very few people lived on. There was lots of farmland around us, lots of vegetation, lots of trees, lots of animals, and it's very different now. I want to say that I feel on behalf of all of our neighbors that we have paid our dues. And let me explain what I mean by that. As I said, when I moved in, it was very different. We have seen the building of senior facilities around us for housing facilities that has changed the ambiance drastically. There's two down the street and a big, large one up the road. And the congestion we used to face all the time was from the Berlin Fair. But now we see at morning hours, lunchtime hours, and at the end of the workday hours, it is incredible to see the speeding and the trucks that we were told would not be allowed to come up the hill. They don't pay any attention to that. So big, huge trucks going up and down the road. The noise level is incredible. And I think that you really have to take that into consideration. Our house values will deteriorate. I think that we choose to live there for a reason, but I would guess that you would want to keep people happy and in the town and reinforce the thinking that went into why we chose where we are.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Hi, my name is Carol Chartier. I live on 558 Weathersfield Road, right across the street. I live right next door to Nick. I've been there, I think over 25 years, maybe 28, 29 years. The traffic has been really bad. It's not Gen Fab no more, but tractor trailers will come and they will hit like the curb and onto my grass on the front just to get into their driveway. So, and wintertime, the tractor trailers and big trucks will get stuck on that hill when they're going up because of the snow. Like everybody said, the traffic is really bad. People speed a lot, or even on top of the hill, there's like two stop signs. First of all, you can't even see the people coming up the hill. So
Mhm.
you're at the stop sign and you're trying to go down, but you're almost going to get hit by somebody coming up the hill. People don't stop at the stop sign. They just go right through. And I do not want this. I really don't want to look outside my window and see this. The lights across the streets, like Nick said, I could see, I'm watching TV and I could see the lights in my living room. It's been a quiet place. The neighborhood, our neighbors are great. Love them. This is like a country road. It's not, you got dump trucks and you don't even know why they're going up and down the hill. I don't know. The traffic has increased.
Let me ask you a question, because you're the second person that's pulled up this truck issue. Is not Weathersfield Road or Beckley Road, isn't that a no through trucks? Isn't there a posting there for no through trucks?
They're not supposed to go up the hill, but they go up the hill. Yeah, it's like they do whatever they want, they go up the hill. Like, if they come down the hill, they're trying to get into like that company. They can't make it.
sometimes they have to back up or they go down the hill and then they turn into White Oak, like, you know, and to try to get back into there.
Okay, so they come down the hill and they can't make the turn into White Oak Drive? Is that
No,
what you're saying?
until it used to be GenFab. It's right next to where he wants to build.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So sometimes even going up the hill, if they come up, they do have problems because they swing and then they hit my property, you know, like the curb and everything to go in.
Have they damaged your property?
They made tire marks where I have to, you know, fix the grass.
Call the town?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, I just wanted some clarification on that.
So I do not want this. Like the other factories, you don't even see them because they're way down White Oak.
Yes.
And it's perfectly fine. Across the street, what I look at in
Yeah.
his property are the deers, the bear.
Yeah.
You know, I see all that, you know, and they cross to the, you know, to the, they have a path. They
Yeah.
start there.
They
and
migrate
go-
a certain way, yeah.
So that's what I see.
Okay.
I was, let's see, I was there when they had a house on that property a long time ago. It was right in the front.
Yeah.
The house, and they knocked that down.
Okay.
So,
All right. All right.
okay.
Nope. Thank you. Anyone else? Nope. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Zipadelli. I'm Nick's wife. We live right across the way. I'm going to speak to you first and foremost as a mom. My daughter can't even go in like our driveway with the bike because it's so bad. I'm just so nervous for that cut through. It's awful, awful. The Berlin Fair traffic is awful. Like it's stuck. Saturdays, we can't even get out of the driveway. It's stuck both ways. So I don't even know how these people are going to go in and out that weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's no way. Sunday. I don't know when they're open. But I'm just telling you, I'm just scared for the safety and the security of that. We don't know how many companies there are, different people. It's just this world is scary as a mom. And we need to make sure, like, I have to keep my daughter safe and the rest of the kids safe. But please, I'm begging you, like, this is just going to cause so much stress on all of us.
Okay.
We love the way we live. We love her. I love our home. But as a mom, like, no, I don't want this at all. I oppose. I know all these people, we don't want this. My 5-year-old will not want this. Just people speed. So please, just consider that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Okay, back to the applicant, because I know you've received a lot of feedback. We haven't started to do our job yet, but maybe you have some impressions of what the concerns of the neighborhood are. I'd like to see how you're going to address them.
We appreciate all the comments, commission comments and the public's comments. And because I heard that other departments have to have their input into this application, we would ask the commission to continue this so that we could all take a good look at this and see what we can do.
Okay.
I can provide some answers to some of the concerns now. The neighbor that's across the street, the arborvitaes are not proposed along the road here. The arborvitaes are proposed around the trash can, which currently has been relocated toward White Oak Drive. Those trees, the double row, those are evergreens, which will be blue spruce, white spruce, that kind of thing. And it will be double row offset with each other. So it provides a very quick buffer. As far as the lights, clearly I indicated in my presentation, the lights are full cutoff lighting. And the notice on the plan will be LED lighting shining toward the ground. Today's standards are different than what 10, 15 years ago they were building these buildings with the lights. The lights today all shine downward and they have full cutoff lighting. And the blue area is not a detention area. The blue area is the existing wetlands area, and we cannot touch that. That's why it's showing there, and it is protected. Okay, the two detention areas are built up from the wetland area. Currently, those are the things I could bring up. The other is that this property is zoned industrial. If we don't do something, somebody else will do something. So their building will go there. But we'll do the best we can and take into account your comments and the public comments.
Yes.
That,
Okay, and I'll just give you one passing thought, if I may, and I concur with what Commissioner Zigmont had brought up earlier, is that I'm looking at that through cut all the way to Weathersfield, and I don't think it's necessary. I think that you should perhaps look at a layout that turns the building, and so your frontage will be on White Oak, and that's where all your traffic will be, is going to be on White Oak Drive. And I think you ought to look at realigning the building a little bit to see if it can be done. But
we will do that. However, the building is laid currently parallel to the existing grades. If you turn the building around, it will be across the existing grades, which is much more difficult and more disruptive type of construction. Right now, that building is parallel east-west. It parallels the grades. And the other thing, we cannot really change it much because there's a major Metabassett sewer easement on the south side. And we cannot park on that easement. If we could park on that easement, we will move the building and do something. But we will look at all the concerns.
yes, please do. All right. And because the applicant has requested continuance of the public hearing, and we have a motion for that.
I will move to continue this item to our meeting of September 3rd.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Zigmund. Yes, we're in discussion on that. Go ahead.
Just in keeping my understanding, special permits is to a degree that one of the sort of criteria is that the building is aesthetically pleasing to the environment. Kind of hearing that the building is not aesthetically pleasing. I think you might want to take a look at what the surroundings are and whatever, and see if there's a little bit that could be done to a metal building is not a very aesthetically pleasing building. So I don't know, I don't mean to put lipstick on a pig, but maybe there's some things that you can do to make it blend in more.
Yeah.
Be fine.
Well, you have some good advice here. Okay, so we're going to move the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. Okay, so we'll be back on September 3rd to see what we can come up with. All right, thank you. And then, all right, and into deliberations, everything just kind of continued and rolled over. So now we're into planners' comments.
None prepared for,
All right, hold on.
none prepared for this evening.
Nothing? Okay. Then commissioner comments. Well, we have some, let them clear out.
There is a meeting still going on. If everybody could please just go out into the hallway. Please go out into the hallway. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner comments, anyone have anything they want to bring to their attention, to our attention, or to staff's attention? No one? Okay, well then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll give you that motion.
Okay, at 9:13. We have a motion by Ms. Jorsey. We have a second by Ms. Daly. Further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. Okay, thank you, guys.